Welcome to these Sci-Fi guys. I'm your host Dave, and always with me is John and Chad. Today we are going to be talking about Pee-wee's Big Adventure. No, wait,
Oh,
no, that's not right. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry that was not supposed to happen. We're going to be talking about Flight of the Navigator, Disney's version of Alien. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to place it in. It really is kind of unique to itself. I'll
Yeah.
give it
Yeah,
that.
very. I mean, I know I joked about Pee Wee because he was the voice of the robot, and you know, you know,
Oh,
let's
darn
just
it! See, you you went into what I was going to go into. I was
I
going to,
mean,
I was going to,
ah,
guys, guess the
I was,
robot.
and right before we hit record, I told Chad, I said I want to smack him because I thought I could go the rest of my life without seeing Pee Wee Herman ever again.
Well, you didn't see him; you just heard his voice.
That's
This
very
is
true. He
true.
has a point.
This is true, but actually, I remember when Pee Wee Herman first came out. He actually
Mhm.
had a special on like HBO, and
Mhm.
it was quite humorous and funny, but and then it got old real quick,
Yeah.
and then they did the movies, and then they found out about his
Uh, this just
issues,
yeah.
and we'll just leave it at that. And then, yeah, so
No, you are, but what am I?
I know you are. What am I? I know
you
you
know,
are. Which are you?
so I think we've done this enough in the beginning, so let's go with the first segment. Okay, this week Chad picked this movie, so Chad gets the questions.
All right. So we all know who the robot was now, since David over there broke the ice. So Pee Wee Herman at the alien chose David from Earth as a specimen. We saw. You remember at the end of the movie when when we brought him back in time? You saw a little kind of flash of light. Like, okay, something happened. Why was there not? Why didn't we see a flash of light when he fell into the hole? See,
Why? Because of convenience, and
that's the plot hole I was talking about.
they didn't want you to think that anything different happened until it actually happened.
But it would have been nice.
Yeah, I really don't know what Disney was thinking on this movie. I really don't. I mean, I know it
Yeah,
was
that's a good
kind of
point.
geared towards kids, but at the same time, it just it was just weird, you know. I mean, the parents, I mean, his younger brother. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just weird all the way around. I mean, I that's the easiest thing this guy can say that. I will tell y'all out in YouTube land the funniest thing though. So my wife actually, I said, "Hey, honey," I said, I'm running out of time. I've got to watch this." And I said, "Will you watch it with me?" I said, "So that way I don't have to, we've got Kyler. It's just the two of us. Kyler's my grandson. He's 2." Right. And so we were like, okay, yeah, it's Disney. It's an old Disney, so it should be good. And so we sat there, and anytime there was like silver or shiny stuff, Kyler would be like, wow, wow, shiny. I mean, that actually made the movie watching him react to it. So,
Oh yeah.
I'll probably never watch the movie again, but it still will, to see his reaction was pretty funny. Anyway, but I'm sorry. Back to the questions.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a convenience plot hole. In essence, probably. So to me, it was more convenience that I don't want to give out there's an alien right there yet, or something's about to take them. But other than that, you got anything, John?
I mean, I would just say, just to go along with the convenience as a whole, just that idea that, I mean, he fell down a ravine and passed out. So, like, I mean, fair that he didn't see a flash the first time around, and he sees it getting up the second time around.
Well, he
Got to give
was
it that much.
asleep the first time around and they didn't have to show that to the audience, I guess. If you think about it, the second time he was awake the whole time.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the only
Sure.
thing I can think of. He wasn't unconscious.
That
So
does help.
we'll give him that. We'll give him a chance and say, okay, how about this? We'll try this.
All right, so I'm gonna some of these questions I'm gonna reverse because hold on.
Oh yeah, go 'em in any order that you. I just whenever we send questions to each other, they don't necessarily are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 5 or whatever. They're just questions, and then when we hit record, we kind of just like, hey, pick which whatever one you want,
All
and
right,
then
so here I'm gonna make this a two-part question here. So we all saw beginning of the movie the relationship between David and his brother, right?
mhm.
Typical siblings didn't like each other. One was older, one was the little brother. He was older, and the little brother was ignoring him. So between that right there, would y'all say that's typical? Like if I know it was typical with my brothers and sisters.
I mean,
John,
I'm an only child, but seeing it in our house and seeing any sibling combo, I mean, what they had was definitely kind of just a go-to norm. Siblings fighting all the time, acting like they don't like each other. Maybe a secret adoration there for each other as siblings, but ultimately, like, no, we're just going to fight and call it a day. And that definitely seems very, very normal.
I can't say that I was adopted, and I did not have any siblings, so I don't know. But I have seen it with my children. So I mean, I have 3 children, so I did see that a lot where they would fight just to fight, and sometimes it was like you guys mentioned, it was they just wanted to fight because they didn't like each other, and then other times you could tell maybe a little jealousy there or something. I don't know.
so David goes missing for 8 years, comes back. The relationship is different. It the little brother was more like sorry that he thought he's the one that reason why he was gone for 8 years. And even though when the alien finally brought him back to his original timeline, that changed the relationship also. He went up and he respected of having a brother and enjoying him to be at the same time. So it changed to me. It changed it a lot. Well, it's more of hey, okay, he took some stuff at advantage when he was original.
Yeah. I don't know. My internet's kind of shaky on this one, so I'm not exactly sure the question you asked. I think it was his relationship.
Yeah,
Now how it would be. Um, I think since he had a view of what his younger brother became and how cool he was, kind of and how much he really missed him. Um, I think that would have changed the way that David treated his brother also,
yeah.
I think I think there's going to be a better relationship there between the two of them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Just as a whole, it definitely seems like that would kind of spurn the later years, like brothers coming back together and just enjoying each other's company. That whole series of events would definitely, I think, spur that on a lot quicker, just all together.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it spurs on. He sees he sees the future. For more to say, he sees what's about to happen. Like saw his brother, it was very good. And he just said, "I'm just gonna go with it and thinking of the same point." So, other than that, so we all come. This is NASA takes him to do some tests, and we come to meet a character that Sarah Jessica Parker played. Uh, the Carolyn McAdams, right?
Yes.
So, will you think David would try to look her up when he goes back to his original timeline?
I mean, I think it's a good thought. It's a good question. Um, I could definitely see him trying, but in movie land, like if it was to follow that story, I definitely see it becoming more of like a comedic, oh, she has no idea who he is, but he knows who she is. And then you go down this whole weird rabbit hole of him trying not to let on that he knows. And, I mean, that trope has kind of seen itself played out in a lot of time traveling scenarios. So I definitely see that possibly being a thing, like if the story were to follow that line a little bit. In regards to reality, I don't necessarily know that he would, because when he goes back, especially as a kid, I mean, he's more worried about his family to begin with, which is why he wants to go back overall. So realistically, I don't think that he would, but in movie land, I think it'd make a great story.
Yeah.
You got to remember when this was based in. So 1978,
Yeah.
right? It would have been fairly difficult to track her down. It's not like they had the internet where they could just go, and because she said she moved constantly, back in the 70s, and I can tell you all, this is how it used to be. You could actually call on your telephone that was mounted to the wall or plugged into the wall. You could actually call a thing called information. And you could say the city and the cities and state. So if he knew that she was in, let's just say, Fort Worth, Texas, he could say Fort Worth, Texas. They would contact them to the operator at Fort Worth, Texas, and he could say, I'd like the number for this person. And they would give it to you. Unlike you do now, because so many numbers are either cell numbers or made up numbers in computers. When you get your phone and it says possible spam,
Yeah.
that's where all that now comes from. But back in the day, it feasibly it could have happened if he knew a little bit more about her. But the way they made the story go, they even said she moved around a lot. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have happened. I just think it would have been too difficult for him as a 12-year-old too. If he was a
for sure.
college student or an adult, maybe, but as a 12-year-old,
Yeah. No. Yeah. The thing is, it's like, yeah, she made it seem like she moved around. Like then they say her parents, her father was military. They moved
Mhm.
around. So he could be like, hey, I moved here to here. Possibly, yeah, if he could call for one. Oh, she moved to here. Let me call that base or call that, and maybe she's there. But yeah, movie. Well, I agree with John. If it was a movie and premise behind it, yeah, I can see it happen. Back in this time, in real time, it'll be finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah. Again, if he had a little bit more information about her, if they would have said that in the movie, I mean, maybe he did find out more. Hey, okay, I lived here for this many years. I lived here this many years.
Yeah.
And he could have figured it out, but
Yeah. So David was gone for 8 years. Nobody. He doesn't know.
I just said 8.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm in a goofy mood tonight. So
So he gone for 8 years. And parents. I don't know if John ever know who Pee Wee Herman is.
How you can't not know who Pee Wee Herman is. Doesn't mean I want to know who Pee Wee Herman is.
see, these are the best. I'm sorry, these are some of the best pods when we just act goofy and just
No,
talk.
I agree. I just, oh man, good old Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Talking
I'm sorry,
bear.
Chad. I did that right in the middle
Good.
of you talking. Go ahead.
You're good. So 8 years. He comes back, goes to his old home, and then finally gets a hold of his parents. But then the parents they take him to the hospital to see where he's been, get him health. I mean, literally good. Parents go see what's going on with his kid because he's been gone for 8 years and declared dead. So that's a whole nother box for worms that I'm not even getting into. So um he finds out there's a lot more brain rage going on. He's printout of the spaceship and got sent, and NASA finds out that, oh, this kid in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, this came out of his brain without knowing what the ship looked like. So NASA keeps on. Would you think in today's times that your 8-year-old kid or a kid, a 12-year-old, doesn't matter, your kid goes missing for 8 years, and the NASA decides I'm going to keep him for a couple of weeks, and then says, "Oh, I'm going to try to keep him longer because I'm not done with them." What do you think that would you think that would fly in today's times?
I mean, I think there's too much social media and other things floating around. Now, I say that. I think in the modern age, unless they could keep it secret enough, I very much think the modern age government would definitely take the softer approach that this government seemed to. But I think if the movie were being realistic to the times that were set in, I feel like the government would have been a lot more harsh than they were acting in the film. Also, probably a little more uh, security wise, a little more heavy laden, heavy bearing. Um, but there's so much social media and stuff around that if a child goes missing and it's even suspected the government did it in any way, shape, or form, there's going to be a lot of talk around it, a lot of controversy around it. But also, if it's NASA, NASA's not necessarily known for doing that as well, and so that would also kind of throw things off. Just all around, it would throw up a bunch of red flags that I think social media would take over nowadays on. So I don't necessarily think it would happen the same way. But also, if the kid's been gone for 8 years, maybe people just aren't thinking about it anymore, and they would just say, "Oh, whatever, he's gone." And maybe they would just come up with like, "Oh, it's a different kid. It's whatever. It's this. It's that." So I could see it going a lot of different ways, but I definitely see it being a little softer just because of media attention that is so prevalent now.
Yeah.
I see it a little differently, actually. One, NASA may be involved a little bit, but the government would be all over it. It would be in the military's hands, because the military would be like, "Is this a weapon? Is it going to kill us?" We want to know what it is. They might talk to NASA, and that might be the way to get the kid to a military installation is via NASA, but
True.
it would be run by the military, flat out. And
Yeah.
then if they wanted to keep the child longer, oops, an accident happened. He was gone for 8 years. You got him back for a couple days, or you got him back for a few hours. All right, he's gone again. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, if they really wanted to know, because these guys were bumbling idiots in NASA, oh, it's
Yeah,
here, it's there,
they were horrible at this.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So the thing is, to me is he goes to the police station and oh, this kid's been missing since 8 years. Let me find your parents. Good thinking, but what would happen if, like I said, this would be, oh, he's gone for 8 years. Let's contact the military. Where was he at? Like,
And
not
no,
even going,
for 8 years and hasn't aged at all.
oh yeah,
He's
that
still 12 years old. He
yeah,
should be 20 and he's still 12. So, yeah.
yeah, it'd be a lot of red flags, and I don't think
I'm
NASA
not
would
sure
be.
the parents would ever get to know. I
No.
mean,
No, that's
it
also
would.
true. They probably wouldn't even make it back to parents nowadays. So that might be the easier part. Because the disappearing side of it does change it a little bit.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. He comes back. Okay, before he goes back in time, because the very last one I'm gonna ask is really back in time. So, why did the aliens say he couldn't take David back to his original time at first?
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't it like his age or something? It could hurt him or damage him or something. Wasn't it something
It's
like
too
that?
dangerous.
It was
It was too dangerous for the child itself.
it would think
That's
that he
true.
thought they were they were disintegrating. Something was gonna happen to him,
Yeah.
like melt.
I don't have one of those. I'm melting.
They're melting. Oh
Come on, Daddy.
Come on, Dave. Y'all the sound effects.
To infinity and beyond.
That's where he'd be, floating away as
Wait.
dust, just like Thanos would have snapped him. You know, just gone.
I mean, they're like, you think that we all seen Back to the Future. We've seen other time travels, things that we've seen. So why would Disney like? Would this come out before Back to the Future, or was this
Yeah,
before?
this came out in 1986.
Yeah, so Back to the Future already came out, right? The
Back
first
to
one,
the Future came out in
85.
85. Okay. Yeah.
So
I don't
mean,
know. Again, I'm not sure what Disney's the whole plan for this movie was. I
yeah,
mean, I tried googling it and I never found out what was, like Tron. You kind of know the whole storyline of Tron and what it was designed for and all that, and other movie, even the one we did a few weeks ago, the Black Hole.
yeah,
It was rushed at the end, but they still had a baseline story of what was going on.
yeah.
This one, they needed to get the maps out of a kid's head. I just, it was just okay, and if you actually watch the trailer, it did not have Pee-wee's voice
Mm-mm.
as Max.
No.
So after they did the trailer, they decided, oh, let's have this Pee-wee in there.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not gonna
think
do
he
it
was.
again.
No, he. I mean, he was big at the time when this was
He
coming
was.
out.
He had his special. His movie came out the year before.
Yeah. See,
So.
do you? Okay, here's this. I just realized we were talking like because Black Hole was trying to mimic in Star Wars. Disney was this genre, this Star Wars science fiction space stuff was fairly brand new.
Mhm.
What? Because trying to think, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Who made that one?
Spielberg,
Spielberg.
Yep.
but it wasn't Disney.
It wasn't Disney. You think Disney was just trying to make the Flight of the Navigator to be like E.T. kind of?
Yeah, I can see that. They kind of went that whole, hey, let's go with kids route. That makes
Well,
sense.
and I could also see them just trying to turn it into a ride eventually, and this was just the story behind the ride, and then they converted it to a ride. Maybe that just fell through. Because I mean they've done that with other things, both like taking a ride, turn it into a movie, taking movies, turned them into rides. I could see where they were like maybe they had thought of a ride and they were going to have some groundbreaking thing, and then it just fell through, and maybe the movie just stuck. There's no telling.
Yeah. So last question is got. So he goes back in time. David he finally sees different specimens on there. But he finds one specimen that he likes that was an orphan. This world was no longer there. Where we see at the end when he finally when he gets on the boats with his parents, it's in his book bag. How do you think he's going to keep that a secret? And how to tell where did it come from?
I think he would end up in government hands just from having it again. Like that's just how he ends up back with the government at that point. How'd you get it? Where'd it come from? Why are you holding on to it? Because there's no way that stays secret forever. I mean, his brother's already seen it. That's going to get blabbed about.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Is I mean that might be what helps their relationship, but no 12-year-old is going to go. I got an alien in my bag. They're not going to not say that. I mean, John, you're a teacher. I'm a school bus driver. I can tell you, kids do not know how to shut up.
No, never.
If
Literally never. And if they have something they shouldn't have, everybody's going to know about it.
Well, even I'm going to talk about a show. My wife and I we enjoy Survivor. All right. But if you look at the last few years of Survivor,
That's predictable.
when someone gets an idol, they got to tell somebody.
Mhm.
They can't not tell somebody. All right. Currently, I'm watching it, and there is an older lady on there. She is 57, I think. 55, 57.
Finds
Something
an
like that.
idol and tells everybody.
She has an idol and hasn't said a word to anyone. That just
The
tells
way
you
the
the
game should be
differences in
played.
generations.
Yeah.
Our generation, we don't care. If I have something and you don't have it, big deal. It's okay. We don't have to, share everything. But yet the younger generation, especially young kids, they got to tell everything.
All the
Oh,
time.
my daddy doesn't live with us anymore because he couldn't take care of us. Or I mean, I don't need to know that, but kids share everything.
Thanks, kid.
Yeah.
Good to know, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't. Like, I used to watch it, and I got to the point where it was more like that. But I watched it when somebody that same age that was actively looking for the idols and I'm going to sabotage. I'm going to do this. So yeah, everybody's going to want to say, yeah. Back to the point, David told his brother, "Shh, don't say nothing. I'll tell you later." And he's always going to tell. Saying, oh no, it might look back to the other question where maybe this is the way that he can try to figure out how to see the Parker character, try to somehow to find a way to meet her. If that was the, like I said, movie premise, take it on from there. Him getting caught with the alien.
Yeah, he's going to get caught with it, and the government's going to do something. That's bottom line. Well, if you don't have any more questions, Chad, let's go to our next segment.
Hurry.
Actually, we talked about this offline that we weren't going to do this segment because there really wasn't very many plot holes. But while we were discussing, I thought of a couple. So, have any before I throw mine out there? John, you said you had like minor nitpicking. I mean, there was no hitting in your face. This is like bad stuff.
Yeah,
but
there's nothing major. NASA security, I definitely think would not the child they're holding. First of all, I don't think anybody's entering the room. Let's start there. Let alone do I think
if
a child
if they enter it with the machine, they're gonna have somebody check the machine when it leaves so that they know the kid didn't sneak away in it.
Yeah, like it's small, but that's basic security 101. You're not creating a situation in which the kid could get out. Overall, I think the weird idea of I think the not going back in time because it might destroy the kid. I think if the pilot has no prior information on that, I don't, especially if he's taken all the other things back to their times, I don't understand why it's so
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get why David's so different. Like, just take him back. That's what you said you do. So just do it. So those are my two.
Yeah, Chad, how about you?
Yeah, about the same. Other than how, other than the convenience plot hole in the beginning, where the alien come from, how did David get there? Like, other than falling in a ravine, then waking up, it seems like a couple minutes later, crawling out, found out he was gone for 8 years. Just that somehow there. That beginning, how did he get taken? I would like to know.
Yeah, I mean, the ones I had were like minor stuff, like the brother in the future, we'll say in '86, when he's like, "Oh yeah, mom and dad didn't do anything. Your room is still exactly the same as it was before. However, they moved. How could it be exactly the same as before if they moved to a different place?" It just if this is big, if he is from 1978, he's not wearing 1978 clothes. Neither was mom and dad at the beginning of the movie very much, you know. I mean, there really wasn't a drastic change from 78 to 86 when the movie was supposedly done, you know. I did think it was funny that at the beginning of the movie, the mom had a pink shirt and white shorts, and then you blink your eyes, now she has a green shirt and long white pants. So she decided to change, but dad did not. He stayed the same. So, I mean, little nitpicking stuff like that is I mean, those are the biggest plot holes that I saw. Besides, and then he's from 1978. Home computers were not a thing in 1978. Heck, 1978 computers were they were huge.
About big as a room.
As big as a room. So when he's in there and he's looking at all these screens, it's not affecting him or phasing him at all. You know, I mean, those screens and all that are all there looking, you know, and he's just like, I didn't put that up there, you know, or what. I mean, it just didn't affect him at all. You know, he should have been like, what the heck is all this? You know, there should have been a little bit more of a drastic.
Well, to get I'm going to be more technical. That they didn't have personal computers. That might have been a mainframe hookup. They have.
Yeah,
you can mainframe in, so that could be a mainframe hookup there, and it was just all there. So who knows? You didn't see the computer; you just saw them right here and hooked up. All the wires going to one area.
Yeah, but a 12-year-old from 1978 wouldn't have had access to that, so I think he would have been more shocked.
Yeah, but more shocked,
more in awe of it than he was.
Yeah,
you know, that's all I'm saying. Okay, let's go to our next segment. Okay, this segment, we're either going to fix or improve this movie. So, Chad, you get to start since you picked it.
So, like I said, I would have liked to see more. Like, we saw how he got back. You saw a little glimpse of light. But I would love to see how he was picked up or there, or and then get down to just little nitpicky little things, or what was it? Tell a little bit more better storyline, like to keep it flowing right. I mean, there's others, but I kind of forgot. Had a brain fart.
Happens to the best of us. Okay, John, how about you?
Me personally, I think I'm going to change the design of the ship. I like the ship and that it caused some intrigue, but that whole idea of there being no seams and suddenly you have like melting magnetic steps that just magically float in the air, I think that's a little off for me. So I would definitely fix just the general design of the ship. I don't know. I'd make it at least a little more cool to me. I do like the fact that it could shapeshift, but for me, it's just not it. I think I would also add probably a little more just action to it. There's not really a whole lot of action per se. Like we jump into this whole government protectiveness idea and scene, and then we don't really get a whole lot from that like we would nowadays. So I think I'd add a little more action there. And I get that he's a kid, but I still think a little more sneaking, maybe some better security, or even quote unquote booby traps. You know, something that he has to get through escape, because it didn't. The major thing the film really seemed to miss was a clear antagonist, because there wasn't really, he didn't really have a big enemy per se. His parents were there to help him. The government in their own way weren't really necessarily against him. I mean, they had their own motives in mind, but they weren't necessarily fully against David. They were just trying to figure out what in the world happened to him. Max wasn't really against him, so there wasn't really a clear antagonist. So either make the government a little more intimidating and make them an antagonist, or add some action in somewhere. I think that's the real major fix I would add to it.
Yeah, you picked up on one of mine. Mine was definitely make, like when he was over Tokyo, have the their air defense scramble jets and fly after him or something definitely different on that. I would like to see, again, we mentioned it already, you know, a better storyline, something that made more sense that we could actually follow. And a lot of what John said, you know, I kind of want to echo at the same thing. Is
Mhm.
that, you know, there really needs to be better storytelling. You know, what was the whole point of Jennifer Bradley at the beginning? Then was it just to give him I have no confidence, and now all of a sudden he has confidence? You know, that needs to be followed up at the end of the movie. Don't have the end of him getting in the boat and just sailing away. He needs to go up and talk to her the next day
Yeah.
or something, you know. And then as a sequel, if you wanted to sequel it, he goes on and becomes a pilot, or goes on and becomes the head of NASA or something, you know, and actually is out there searching for Max and other aliens,
Terrestrials.
you know, get some kind of real story, you know, compliance, okay, you know, and okay, Navigator, you know, I mean, just yeah. With that, let's go to our next segment. All right, everybody, we're going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. All right, let's start with John this time.
I'm not going to beat around the bush on this one. I think a solid 3 for me. Not a horrible movie. Not a whole lot wrong with it per se. Like we said, a little lackluster in a lot of areas, but it still has a lot of charm. Still pretty well made altogether as a film, especially for when it was made. Again, entertaining. I'd watch it again. I keep it a solid 3.
Okay, Chad, how about you?
I'm about in the same boat. Three for the solid film. What it was. I watched this film when I was a kid, like growing up. I just because it was just something new. Let's see what it is about. And so yeah, 3.
Y'all are generous.
I'm
giving it a 1.
I know I'm being generous.
I'm giving it a 1 just for the fact of
Okay, so I've
I
learned
don't
something.
ever
Pee-wee
want to hear
is
Pee-wee
is
again.
what's his face.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I mean, I couldn't follow the storyline very well. I mean, it was just kind of all over the place. There was no action really, you know. Heck, the black hole. Actually, I'm kind of thinking back to Disney's other movie, and it did not have much action, but it was far better movie, and that was done in 1978. You know, not in 1986. You know,
Mhm.
so or 85. Probably was filmed in 85 when it was released in 86. So yeah, I'm giving it a 1. I can't get over. I can't get over Pee-wee. I can't get over that really there wasn't a good story, you know. If
Yeah.
you're not gonna tell me a good story, what's the point? You know. So all right, everyone. Yeah, the best way to do is contact us. Please contact us. Best way to do that is in the YouTube comments. You guys give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We just got a new subscriber this week, and we appreciate you. All you guys are out there. We're on all the social media networks: X, Facebook, and Instagram at TheseSciFiGuys. Or you can email us, TheseSciFiGuys at gmail.com. All right. Our next movie is one that John picked out.
Yeah.
Of course, I kind of nudged him. I was like, hey, this would be a good
I
movie.
picked a category for this next film,
picked
and
the
you narrowed
category.
it down for me.
I kind of helped him and pick it because I'm a big honking monster, love big B movies and all that. And I think these guys are going to really enjoy this one. It's The Terror of Mecha Godzilla.
I'm so ready.
Godzilla!
Godzilla! Let them fight. No, that's the newer stuff. This is definitely much older.
Play motion.
No, it's actually people in rubber suits most of the time, but hopefully you
Oh,
guys
the
will
joy.
enjoy it. It's this actually is one because we were discussing this. I was thinking, hey, you got Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla, and then this one, Terror of Mechagodzilla. And I was trying to remember which one was which. So I actually got on the TV the other day. Okay, no, not that one. Okay, this one. Okay, and I'm fairly certain this one was filmed in Okinawa, Japan. It actually lived there for 4 years, so it's kind of nostalgic also to see some of the places that they were at. So I'm sure we'll talk about that more next week. Well, everyone, until next time,
Crash and burn.